Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Mondays. This is episode 37. So this week, guys, I've been working on something a little different. You see, a while ago, I got one of the made-to-order Demon Hunter models. This is the classic Ordo Malleus Demon Hunter. And I've sat on him for a while. I've probably had him for a few months. And I thought, you know what? In this, building on what I said last week about catching up with models that I've been sitting on for a while, models that have been sent to me by supporters. I'm not gonna do. I've got 2 full platoons now. I'm gonna start painting up some interesting models, some characters, and really get on top of some of these things that I've been sat on for a while. So I've got an Eisenhorn model. I've got a Severin Rain model. I've got this Inquisitor, I've got the Space Pope model, loads of other little ones, one sent by fans as well. So I received a Stormtrooper Sergeant, one of the classic ones with like the katana and the pistol. The pistol hand was missing, so I've started working on that one as well. Replaced that pistol hand with the plasma pistol. And yeah, so there's all these little models that I've picked up. I've got a Forge World Cadian Command Squad, all these little bits. And I thought, you know what, let's just build up some cool models. And so, at least for every normal squad that I do, I should paint one of these cool squads, or cool models. So that's the plan going forward, guys. So the reason we're doing that is not only does it allow me to get on top of these models that I've been sat on for a while, but it also lets me break up the type of hobby I'm doing. I'm not just painting squad after squad after squad. So yeah, that's what I've worked on this week, and like I said, I painted this Demon Hunter Inquisitor, and I have to say, guys, I really enjoyed painting this model. Now he's made to order. And he came made to order in metal, which is really interesting because I know some people have received made to order things and it's come in resin. This guy did come in metal, so I'm not sure if they made to order and they were just sat on a few that they found at the bottom of a box and they sent me one of those ones. Not sure. But I have to say, the quality of the sculpt was perfect. Absolutely perfect. There were no issues with it whatsoever. Didn't have to do any tidying up really. And yeah, it was a pleasure to paint. Now I never realised this about this model, but he actually has a power sword strapped over his back. Whenever I've seen pictures of it, either in battle reports or on the website or whatever, I've only ever seen it from the front. So I didn't know that he had that power sword on the back, which is actually really cool. I really like it. This is probably my second favourite Inquisitor model, but now I've painted it, it might be my first. One of my absolute favourite Inquisitor models is the Ordos Xenos one, who is modelled very similarly to this, except for he's got a power sword in his hand and he's got the bolter stretched out forth, and he's got this really cool sort of sci-fi helmet on. But I do really like that model because I saw it in the first time I saw it was in a White Dwarf battle report. It must be like 20 years ago now, and it was where this Xenos Inquisitor was helping the guard defend against some Tyranids. But now that I've got my hands on this model, I have to say I actually kind of like this one. It's a little bit more unique as well. It's a little bit cooler. So I do like this. Now, I had to make an interesting decision when painting this model. Did I decide to paint him in unique colours, or did I paint him to match my regiment colours? I decided to paint him in colours matching the regiment. Now, there were a few reasons behind this. Now, the first one was I had the same decision to make when I was painting my Minister One priests, and I found that they looked really good matching the regimental colours, and I got a lot of positive feedback about that. In fact, several people in the comment section here and on the Bolter and Chainsword, where I do a written update on the painting blog, is they said they wish actually they'd painted their guys matching their unique characters, like the priests and whatnot, in the same colours as their regiment. So that was one thing that worked so well. And secondly, I do want, it sounds crazy, but I might not always use this as an Inquisitor model. Okay? I could easily use this as a priest model with an auto gun. You know, I could easily. It gives me a little bit of flexibility on what I actually want to use the model for. It could be used, you know, a Scion Commander for my assault corps with the Blessed Bolt Gun, if I decide to go down that, or Blessed Bolt Pistol in this case, if I decide to go down that route. So it does give me a little bit of flexibility if I paint, you know, tactically if I painted matching colours to the regiment. And the third thing is I kind of like the fluff implications this has. So you guys know that I've been building up the fluff to the 50th Rifles, you know, the restoration of the 50th Rifles for a while. And it started out fairly basic, which was the reason for the repaint was the regiment was essentially going through a reformation. It had, and it needed, it was one, and the new colours represented a whole fresh new start for the regiment. And then this developed into the fluff of, well, the reason that they're having this fresh new start is because when they were over the years, the regiment has sort of slowly but surely lost its morals. So it used to be never tolerate the witch, all about the priests and the commissars. This was back in sort of 5th edition, and well, all editions up until 5th and 6th edition that I had the army. And then as I started getting into more competitive scene, I did start adding more psychers in, and the fluff wise for that was essentially, and the priest and the commissars dropped away. And my fluff was that, well, the priests and the commissars had a high attrition rate in the regiment, and then without their guiding wisdom, the officers were finding themselves in battlefield situations where they needed to draw upon some more unusual forces like sanctioned psychers and other psychers to try and win battles. And then when the supply chain caught up with them, and after fighting many desperate battles, the commissariat and the ecclesiarchy saw the regiment, were like, you guys are making far too much use of psychers. Psychers are like a big no-no. There's a big resurgence of faith in the sector that they were fighting in, and huge purges of psychers coincided with the psychic awakening, and the ecclesiarchy been like, no psychers, and the commissariat been like, no, there's too many psychers, we've got to purge them. And so they came along and for the regiment and said, okay, well, you guys are using too many psychers, you've not got enough priests and commissars, so you guys are very close to being heretics. There's so many, you're using like at least 4 or 5 psychers every battle. That's pretty heretical. And so, but you are Mordian Iron Guard, and we have tested you, and your faith has been found to exist, but you do need to go on a penitent crusade. Essentially, you do need to absolve yourself of your sins, and so that's why there's no psychers in the army now. Even when I'm facing armies where I would really like to have psychers, the only thing I'll consider using is maybe an astropath, and that's just to represent the the astropathic communication for the regiment. But even then, I think I've only used in the year or so that I've done this. Been doing the restoration, I've only used a psycho once in one battle report, and it was only because I forgot some of the models that I needed for the army. So I just quickly popped what I had in there that made it the points was a psycho. But in theory, in reality, there's basically been no psychers used in the regiment. So the next sort of level of fluff from that is, well, what if there's something else going on here? What if the regiment was originally going to be cleansed because the ecclesiarchy and the commissariat had seen, well, there was going to be cleansed because the commissariat had seen them and gone, well, you guys are all heretics, basically. But what if some shadowy inquisitional force swooped in and sort of, in the background and said, no, you know what, it's always good to have a force of guardsmen that are ready to die and martyr themselves for the imperial cause. What if we give these guys a chance to redeem themselves? And this is where I think this Inquisitor comes in. And I think what this guy's done is he's realised that you know, the Commissariat, they can be kind of heavy-handed at times, and the Mordians, whilst surely have maybe overused psychers and use them unsanctioned ones as well potentially, they are true to the Imperial Creed, and so what we can do is we can use these guys as a pretty effective force who are like a bit like Sister Battle Repentia, who are desperate to redeem themselves and will take on the hardest missions and will not falter in the face of the enemy. So that's what this Inquisitor's seen that and has sort of pulled a few strings and is like, okay, well, you know what, we can't, you know, okay, Commissars, hold off, you know, Imperial authority, I don't want you to kill these guys, but, you know, let's come to a deal here. What if we get the Ecclesiarchy involved? What if we just load this regiment up with loads of Commissars, so you've got loads of, you know, the Commissars are, you do have the regiment commanders, of course, who will have overall command of the regiment, but you're going to have a lot of Commissars in there who are going to have a lot of sway and almost be part of the command chain. They're meant to be outside of the command chain, but, you know, the Commissars will be, you know, will be heavily involved, and the Ecclesiarchy will also be there to keep these guys on the straight and narrow, and then, you know, and that will mean that the regiment can stay on track. So that's what I kind of like, and that's what this Inquisitor represents, and that's why their uniforms have kind of been modelled off his. I haven't decided yet whether they've adopted his personal colours, or if he, to blend in with them somewhat on the battlefield, has, because he likes to operate behind the scenes, doesn't like to be out and proud and, you know, taking charge directly. He sort of, where he blends in with them, he sort of just, you wouldn't know in such a big regiment, you wouldn't necessarily notice one guy with slightly weird armor walking around, because the regiment's made up of loads of different remnants, right? So I kind of decided which one I prefer. I kind of like the idea that the Inquisitor has adopted their colours so that he can continue to pull the strings from the sideline, and if he needs to, he can always operate as a, like I said, as he can pretend he's always a remnant from another regiment. That's why his uniform's a little different, so it kind of fits in with that side of the fluff as well, which I think is really cool. And I really like the idea of the Mordian Iron Guard not really, you know, the Mordian Iron Guard commanders thinking, okay, thinking that the reason that they were spared wasn't because of the Inquisition, it was because the Emperor saw them as truly repentant and said, right, okay, I will give you the chance to redeem yourselves. And that they think it's a blessing from the Emperor that they've been, because they've heard of other regiments who've done similar things and have been totally annihilated and their glorious history expunged from all records. And so they're like, oh, well, we must be blessed by the Emperor if he has kept us around. And the reality of the situation is actually it's this Inquisitor who's essentially like, you know, the Imperium always needs people like the Death Corps of Krieg, you know, ones that are willing to die and martyr themselves to the Imperial cause. So I really like that idea with the Inquisitor and the fluff behind this. So that's what I'm leaning towards. And what I'm saying is the book that he holds is not a book. It's meant to be the what do they call it? I can't remember what the book's called now, and I did know it before doing this video. It's got the list of like demon names and stuff in it, and because in the fluff of 40k, if you know a demon's name, I think this is the fluff for a lot of sci-fi and fantasy and maybe, you know, and texts. If you know a demon's name, you have power over it. I know in the Bartimaeus trilogy, if any of you haven't read that series, go and check it out. It's really awesome. It's about like demons in the modern world and stuff. If you know, humans are able to control demons because they know their names. So that's what this book's meant to be. What I'm thinking of having is it's a book of all the supposed crimes and the actual crimes that maybe the Mordian Iron Guard did. And they have most, you know, or all the the names of, I'm thinking like all the not, crime seems, it's like a strong word, because they're not, because the Mordian aren't heretics, the 50th Rifles aren't heretics, but it's all their perceived crimes by the ecclesiarchy and the Inquisition and the Commissariat, and they've got to absolve themselves. They've got to tick off each one of these crimes that they've done. They've got to do an act equal to counter it. They've got to do something that they can repent for it. And this book is just filled with like thousands and thousands of like major and minor transgressions. Like some of the major ones being like, use psychers at the Battle of Edgewater Ridge and stuff like that. And some of them will be guardsmen didn't bayonet charge when they should have done, or whatever. Lots of little, and sometimes little tiny ones, like one of the guys didn't turn out in absolute impeccable parade uniforms that one time. Like that's a really big one for the Mordian guy. So I'm thinking it's this book that's just full of all these different little transgressions, not crimes. It's a book of all the transgressions. And the little crimes, the little heresies, and the little bit times when the Mordians took it, 50th Rifles under the old command took it too far. And it's a list that, and the Crystal literally will go down like each page, and like tick them off as he's going along. Like, you've absolved yourself of that one, you've absolved yourself of that one. Yep. No, that's still a grudge you've got to solve. It's like a book of grudges, basically. So I really like that idea, and like you can see, this is a weighty tome. Like it has got, it's got pages upon page, and just because he's holding it at the halfway point doesn't mean that they've got through, half the transgressions they need to repent for. That's just on that page. There's one on there. Oh yeah, you tick that one off. He's going back and forth, flicking throughout the pages, and this may only be one book of many. Of these little things that they've stacked up against the Mordian Rifles to basically make them feel super guilty and make them want to martyr themselves for the Imperial Creed. Because I really like the. Don't get me wrong. One of the concerns I have had. This is a bit of a fluff episode, but one of the things I have really liked about the fluff that I've been developing on these guys is this sort of shadow war that's going on in the background. The Game of Thrones, not season 8. Style sort of politicking that's happening. So you've got the shadow war between you've got the Inquisition pulling the strings. You've always got to have an Inquisitor pulling the strings. If there's anything that is a true trope of 40k, you've got to have Inquisitors pulling the strings. If you want, that's a given. But what I really like is also the shadow conflict between the Commissariat and the Ecclesiarchy. Like the Ecclesiarchy are bringing in all these like Ogryns and Bulgrins and stuff, troops which have total blind faith to the Ecclesiarchy. A small mind is easily filled with faith, and I like the idea. Now we've also got the Commissariat building up the Assault Corps, which is run directly by them. It's a company within the 50th Mordian Rifles, which answers directly to them. So I like all this little fluff, but it is important to remember, guys, whilst I'm building all this stuff, it's important to remind myself that the true heart of this regiment is the Mordian 50th Rifles. The true story behind the regiment is with them, and all the commanding officer. Whilst there's all these guys, what we've got to remember is whilst I like to talk about all these little cool shadow battles going on in the background, what we have to remember is at the end of the day, the Mordian 50th Rifles are commanded by Mordian officers. The commanding officer is Mordian 50th Rifles. And all the fighting and the hard work and the bloodshed and the tears is done by the riflemen. And so it is important just to remind us, for me to remind myself and for us to remind each other that is the beating heart of the regiment. And all the glorious campaigns, all the battles, all the battle reports, wins and losses and whatnot, all of them are, the Mordian 50th Rifles are at the centre of this story, and their redemption is at the centre of the fluff that we're building up around them. So I was just thinking it might be really cool. And you guys can let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Maybe I should sit down, like a pen and paper, and write out a couple of scripts and whatnot, so I can do it slightly less off the cuff, and we get some real proper world building done around the Mordian 50th Rifles. You know, like, you know, you see those like fluff videos and lore videos done by like the Templin Institute and like Lucian09, those guys who do like proper lore videos. It'd be cool to build up some of my own lore and world building, and have like just an episode every so often, or maybe just do one big episode, the glorious history of the Mordian 50th Rifles. And just based on, it'd be cool to base it on like from when I started collecting them, like 15 odd years ago, 16 years ago, to now, and basically base their fluff off that, and like where they started from. Are they, you know, native to Mordian, or they, you know, I like to think my guys are from a Mordian colony, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that would be, I think that would be really cool to do that. But let me know what you think, if you'd be interested in having like maybe like an hour long, maybe a little longer, just absolute fluff and lore video covering like all aspects of the Mordian 50th Rifles and their story over the last 17 years. I think that would be kind of cool. So there you go, guys. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about fluff, and I know a lot of people won't be that interested in that, but this is what the Mordian Monday is all about. It's about it's just a stream of consciousness video. So there is some other stuff that I need to talk about as well. So we're moving on from the fluff side of things now. So just wanted to say, I was going to mention this at the beginning of it, but I didn't want to start the video off on like a negative note. I wanted to, you know, I always like my videos to be positive. I know that my video output recently has been lower than usual. I've been doing 1 to 2 videos a week, whereas normally you guys would see 3 to 4 videos a week from me. That is just due to, unfortunately, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of real life disruption. I don't like to talk about real life stuff on this channel at all, just because I like to keep, you know, 40k, real life. I don't like to mix the two very much. But there has been a lot of disruption in the personal life just with this bloody virus that's going around, you know, the one that's on the news 24/7. So I'm not going to go into it now, because I'm sure you, like myself, are absolutely sick to death of hearing about it. But there has been a bit of disruption with my work around that. But the good thing is now that disruption is over, because I'm now home working. You know, I'm very lucky that I can work from home with my job. So I can go and do lots of home working, and because of all the time that I'll save in commuting and whatnot, I should be able to get more videos done now, which is great, and also should be able to get more painting done, which is awesome, because I would ideally like to be able to paint more than one model, an Inquisitor, in a week. So that's really positive. So there is a silver lining to all these things. Obviously, the situation is a bit grim at the moment, especially in the UK. For those that don't know, we're going through sort of like a partial lockdown at the moment. It's not too bad. I just got to work from home and eat loads of Monster Munch, basically. But and drink. I got lots and lots of Iron Brew stockpiled up, guys. So don't you worry. The Iron Brew stockpiles are fully up to date. Obviously that's a little bit of real world disruption. Like I said, I'm not going to go on about it too much, guys. I don't want to, we're all a bit sick to death of hearing about it. So there's that. So I just wanted to say there will be some more, should be more video content going up. In terms of other things that are happening, there may be, it might not be straight away, but there may be some disruption because I may be moving house soon. So currently I'm renting, and I'm looking to hopefully buy in the near future. So there may be a little bit of disruption there, but this is a big but, and I hope it will not lie. It's a big but, it will not lie. There is some good news, which is where I am currently looking. In the houses that I'm looking at in general, there should be room for a dedicated Warhammer place, like a man cave. And fortunately, I have got permission from High Command, my fiance, and she hates when I call her High Command, and had got permission from the committee to turn one of the rooms into a dedicated Warhammer room. And that would be fantastic for doing battle reports in, guys. So I might finally, after many years of doing this channel and going to various clubs and doing it in my living room and whatnot, it's looking very likely in the future that I will have a dedicated Warhammer space, and that means I'll have a dedicated Warhammer studio, so we can have like models lining the walls, and we can have like cool Warhammer posters up, and we can actually get a slight semblance, and we can get good lighting, and we might be able to get an actual slight semblance of professionalism on this channel. God forbid that I can be slightly professional. So there is lots of positive news. So whilst there is some disruption coming up, guys, I am hoping to I'm hoping to keep the videos going, even if it is still just 1 to 2 a week. I am hoping to just keep ticking over, keep getting the content out, even if it's just a Mordian Monday. Just keep people, keep the channel active, keep the interest active, and then hopefully in the near future, it might not be for 3 to 6 months. There's lots of I's that need to be dotted, T's that need to cross when it comes to this kind of stuff. But the future is, that there will be a dedicated Morning Glory studio, which would be great. So that's exciting times. It's definitely going to be happening in 2020. So while 2020 seems to have got off to a bit of a rough start, it looks like it should, from a Warhammer perspective, it should hopefully have a good end. So we'll see how that goes, guys. I'll keep you in the loop on that one. Keep just on these Morning Monday videos. So there we go. Other stuff that I've been working on. So I am currently working for the next few videos. I just want to... I've painted this cool model. And the next squad that I'm going to be working on is going to be a squad of Stormies. Squad of Stormtroopers for the Assault Corps. We're going to paint up a less efficient squad. So I'm categorizing them by less and more efficient squads. So the more efficient squads tend to have a plasma gun in. The less efficient squads tend to not have a plasma gun in. So I am painting up a less efficient squad. But as I've spoken about this before, guys, the reason I like to do... Well, I'll explain what's in there. So in the squad is a melter gun and a flamer. Now, I know a lot of people will be going, why are you not doubling up double melter guns? And why are you even taking flamers? Well, the reason I do this from a hobby point of view, guys, is because I have a lot of melter guns which are semi-decent scion weapons, and I have I have an equal amount of plasma guns and melter guns, but I also have a fair few flamers and grenade launchers. Now, flamers and grenade launchers are actually not great scion weapons traditionally, but I know if I just focus on painting up my plasma guns and my melter guns, that I won't get round to painting up my grenade launchers and my flamers, and that means I'll be left with models unpainted, and I don't want to do that. So I kind of have to trick my own brain and be like, for every good weapon I paint, like a plasma gun and a melter gun, I have to paint up a less good weapon, or a shite one if you prefer. So like a grenade launcher and a flamer. So that's why you'll notice in these squads I paint up one good weapon, one bad weapon. Now, I do split these, so what I tend to do is I tend to paint up flamers with melter guns, and I tend to paint up plasma guns with grenade launchers, though it's not set in stone. Now, we'll get into this more in videos for this week, because I'm planning on doing a big bit of recording today, so I can get lots and lots of videos done. We'll get into this more in the coming weeks, but I'm actually starting to look quite favourably upon things like flamers and grenade launchers for the scions because of the Lambton Lions trait. So the Lambton Lions, those that you don't know, we won't go into full details now because I'm planning on doing a proper review of each regiment. Scion regiment next week and a few weeks after for a proper series. Is it gives you AP-1 on everything. So suddenly an additional AP-1. So suddenly your grenade launchers are AP-2. And that's actually quite good, because what that means you're getting is for 3 points, you're never going to use the frag mode, so just forget about the frag mode. But for 3 points, you're getting a scion that at 24-inch range can throw out just a big old slug. Strength 6, AP-2, D3 damage. You can just chuck that out. And that makes a big, big difference. AP-2 cannot be overstated. And for just 3 points, getting that ability is really good. Because what it means you can do, guys, with your scions, because one of the big problems that Scions have always had is they kind of have to get in close and personal and mess stuff up, but then they struggle to take the bounce back, the fight back. And also, what you can find is that they don't have a lot of medium to long range weapon options that are effective. So and also putting plasma on everyone all the time can get very expensive. So one of the ideas that I've been toying with is taking actually a fair few grenade launchers. Okay, and so what I can do is I'm talking maybe like 6 in the whole army, so maybe 3 squads with grenade launchers, just 3 cheapo squads with grenade launchers, and just no other upgrades. And what I was thinking is, and I won't go, like I said, I won't go too much detail, but we'll talk about this more next week hopefully, is having these squads that I've got. So imagine you've got turn 2, turn 3, you've got squads of Scions raining down from the skies, and they've got plasma guns and metal guns. They're up in your face, they're blasting you. As the enemy, you're going to be like, gotta get rid of them plasma squads, gotta get rid of them metal squads. So you spend those turns fighting your way through those waves of Scions. All the while, you've got a few squads with maybe like volley guns, a few squads with grenade launchers, and they've not dropped down into your face. They've dropped down into cover, into strategic locations, objectives around the battlefield, places that aren't at close range, and they're just there, plump plump, they're just plopping off grenade launcher rounds at you, AP -2, and they only have to kill a couple of, Science scored 2 grenade launchers, 41 points. They only have to kill like 3 Marines, not even 3. They have to kill basically they have to kill like 2.5 intercessors, if that. If they killed 2 intercessors, it's pretty close. If they killed 2 intercessors, they're pretty much getting their points back. A little under. They'd have to kill 2 intercessors and a scout. And if each squad, which they should be able to do because they're just 2 shots hitting on 3s, hitting on 3s, winning on 3s, AP -2, 5 up save for the enemy. They should easily be able to plink off a Marine a turn. Now that's not insignificant. You're just plinking a Marine off a turn. You should get 2 hits. You're more than likely going to get 2 hits. You're more than likely going to get 2 wounds. And the enemy is more than likely going to fail at least 1 save. You've got a third of a chance, a third of a chance, and a third of a chance, and 2/3 of a chance. So you've got 2/3 chance, 2/3 chance, 2/3 chance for everything to go in your favour. So I don't know the exact statistics, but these squads should be plinking off a Marine a turn, which is perfect. That's all I need them to do. So, and they're doing that whilst being unmolested because the enemy's so focused on clearing melter gun and plasma gun squads. So there you go, guys. That's my tactical thoughts going forward. I'm currently taking part in a painting challenge on the bolter and chainsword, which I've pledged to do 2 5-man squads of Scions, 1 with melter and flamer, 1 with plasma and grenade launcher, and the Scion commander that was sent to me by a supporter. So I'm going to get those painted up just because I like to do this paint challenge. I did dedicate myself to that one. And then we're going to go back and do First Platoon and bring First Platoon up to speed. So the deadline for the painting challenge is the 12th of April. And my deadline for then doing First Platoon is by the end of April. But obviously if I'm doing a bit more Scion painting, that might get pushed back by a couple of weeks. But we'll see how it goes. I might get these Scions painted up really quickly, and it might not affect my deadline. So we'll see how it goes. So there you go, guys. Big update. We've covered all sorts of things. We've covered Inquisitors. We've covered fluff. We've covered real life. We've covered tactics of Scions at the end. For those of you that are here for the tactics bit, it's the little juicy nugget at the end for you guys. So there we go. Just wanted to say, as always, thank you for watching. Please leave lots of comments down below. I really appreciated all the positive comments from last week's video, because last week's video was a little somber, and I really appreciate all the support and just positive energy that you guys just throw my way. It is amazing having really dedicated supporters. It really is. So as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.